Shalom Aleichem, the portion of Re'eh. That is the first word of the portion, and that becomes the name of the portion, Re'eh. See. Moses tells us, I want you to see the truth. I want you to be able to see the reality of God and the path that I'm directing you on. Now, this is interesting, because we all know that the main prayer in Judaism is Shema Yisrael, hear, O Israel. And the Hasidic masters tell us that this was a discussion between Moses and God, and Moses, in fact, was trying to make us a Re'eh people rather than a Shema people, a people to whom God is real, that we see it. Like Moses' relationship. Moses is not going to sin the same way I'm not going to walk in front of a truck. Moses is not going to miss a mitzvah the same way I'm not going to miss, my sushi lunch. So he doesn't need to study and inspire himself and deal with the inner struggles to do the right thing. This is reality. And Moses was hoping to bequeath that to the Jewish people. And we too should be little Moseses. We should be like prophets. Wouldn't that make life so much easier? You see it. But in fact, God said to Moses, it's not going to work that way. They're not going to be a Re'eh people. They're going to be a Shema people. They're going to be a people who will hear it. And by free choice, they're going to have to process it. And there's a virtue to that, because now they're coming to it on their own and with their own trial and error and struggle. Much as Tanya will tell you that the Beinoni, the struggling Jew, who has their ups and downs, in a sense has an edge over the tzaddik, the perfect Jew, if you will, because he or she has to overcome that challenge. So why is the Torah portion called Re'eh then, if that's not what actualized? So listen to this beautiful commentary from Hasidic masters. There is a flow in the portions. If you go back 3 weeks, you have Et Chanan, Ekev, Re'eh. And I'm going to illustrate how this is a flow in the context of this conversation of Moses with the Jewish people vis-a-vis God, of what kind of relationship they will have. In Ve'et Chanan, Moses begins by saying to God, please, I'm begging you. I want to go over and see the land. He prayed 515 times. Is the numerical to the word Ve'et Chanan, which also, not coincidentally, is the numerical of the word tefillah, prayer. He prayed 515 times. I want to go see that land. And God said, no, you can't. Sorry. However, you can go up on top of the mountain and see it from far away. How do we understand this story? Like, what kind of joke is that? I'm driving down the highway on the New Jersey Turnpike, what have you, and my kids say, there's Six Flags, we want to go. And they kvetch, they know how to pray like Moses, 515 times. Papa, let's go to Six Flags. And I say, you know what, kids? Sorry, you can't go to Six Flags, but I'm going to pull over and you can look at it. I mean, that's ridiculous. What's the point? So Hasidic masters explain, it's not that Moses wants to go to the land because he's looking to eat of the fruit, that he wants to take a picture with a camel and stamp his passport and say, look, I went to the promised land. Moses wants to go over to the land, you see, because the minute Moses, as the eternal leader of our people, would step foot into that land and see it, experience it for reality, and the land represents the spirituality of God touching down on earth. It's the holy land. It represents that God's holiness lands, pardon the pun, into the physical reality, and God is not some concept in heaven, but is a reality. When Moses, our first and eternal leader, steps into that land, sees that land with his own eyes, for all Jewish people, henceforth, God will become something of a reality. We will see it the way Moses saw it. Says God to Moses, that's not to be. The Jewish people are going to have a different journey. They're going to have a journey of Shema. Hence, the classic line of Shema is in the same portion of Et Chanan. Shema Yisrael, hear, O Israel, says Moses. You'll hear it, you'll learn it, you'll meditate on it, you'll study Chassidus, you'll deal with it like something that's information that you learn, and then you doubt, and you question, and you study, and you grow. It's not going to be a vision like it was for Moses. It's going to make it a much greater challenge, but as I said earlier, it's a much greater accomplishment, because then we're learning it, we're making choices. In a sense, the tzaddik doesn't have that same type of free choice, if you will, like you and I do. Every single day, it's a discussion. I'm hearing it. Am I going to reject it? Am I going to embrace it? Am I going to study ideas that bring me closer to it, or God forbid, further? So now it becomes our thing. God says there's a beauty to the Shema approach. But Moses says, but how are they going to deal with it? There's so many voices giving them information for that Shema for what they hear, how are we going to make sure that they don't mess up and have that energy? Moses couldn't tolerate it. Think of Moses, and he's praying 515 times. He's like a teacher, a parent who knows that, God forbid, their child will be blind. And you say, don't worry, they'll be blind, but they'll hear it, they'll feel it. They'll feel their way. And the father and the mother says, are you kidding me? I need them to see. What kind of life is that? Similarly, Moses knows that the Jewish people henceforth are going to just know God like with their eyes closed, trial and error. And obviously we all know there's a lot of pitfalls when you have trial and error. Says God to Moses, but I'm going to give you one more. You can't go over and see that land, but you can climb on top of the mountain and you can see that land from afar. Translation of that being, that while for your children, the Jewish people, the knowledge of God is not going to be something that you see with your own eyes from close. It will be something that you see from afar. Says God to Moses, don't be afraid, my dear Moses. Your children are not all alone. They're not going to be prophets like you, to whom God is so real and up close and personal. But they will see it. All of us have a little Moses in us. There's a place in us where from afar, we see God. We know that it's a reality. It's not just an idea we read in a book and study and meditate and question. Deep down, we know that it's a fact. We've seen it. We actually see it, albeit not from up close, but from afar. That little voice in us that's sure that there is a God. And that feeds into our Shema relationship. So now we have the flow of the three portions. In Beit Hanan, Moses is told, no, they're not going to see it, but from afar they will. So the relationship becomes Shema Yisrael. Hence, the next portion is Ekev Tishma'un. That's the first verse. The Jewish people will serve God like a heel. Ekev, mostly action. Just do it. Why? Because Tishma'un, because they're hearing it. It's informational. It's not visual. But then Moses says in the third portion, that if you follow this program, study your Torah, do your mitzvahs, and even though it feels like Ekev Tishma'un, like a heel, you're just following along and you're just doing it, like Nike says, because you're only hearing it. Tishma'un. And also the second portion of the Shema is in the Ekev, Shamuat v'haya im shamuat tishmu. You hear it. Eventually, from time to time, you'll come to the next portion. Re'eh, says Moses. Don't you see? When you live a meaningful Jewish life with that struggle of the non-tzaddik that we're talking about, eventually, from time to time, you're going to see it. What a good life. It works. It makes sense. When we live a Torah life, marriage makes sense. Life makes sense. The sanity works better. I mean, everything. We see it. We see that God is the one giving us this plan. We don't quite see it from a close, but we see it from a distance. We see that it works, and that becomes the end of that chain. I want to just conclude with a fantastic anecdote. So, like a good Chabadnik, I'm talking to a Jew who I meet in an airport, and I want him to lay tefillin. And he says, Rabbi, this is meaningless to me. I mean, if you want me to do it for you as a favor, I'll do it, but it means nothing to me. You know, I'm Jewish by name only. And I didn't want him just to do it for me. I didn't feel like that's meaningful enough. I'm talking to an intelligent, good person. So I say, you really think that being Jewish means nothing to you? He says, of course, it's not by name. What is it? I don't go to Shul Yom Kippur, he tells me. I don't fast, I don't have a Seder and Pesach. Maybe sometimes my mother-in-law invites me, I go. It's by name only. That means nothing. And then he looks at his watch, and he has a very nice watch. I say, how about that watch? Does that mean something to you? He says, are you kidding me? This watch? It's a gold watch, and it's a this and that. He gives me the whole name. It's worth, maybe $5,000 or $6,000. Plus, I got it for my wife for a wedding gift. This is valuable. This means something to me. My Jewishness, my tefillin, gunish with gunish, GMG. I said to him, really? Let me challenge you. If I offered you $10,000 for that watch, would you give it to me? $10,000? I don't know, maybe. It's worth $5,000 or $6,000, but it's a gift for my wife. I'm not sure. How about if I up it to 20? He says, probably. What about 25, 50? He says, of course I'm going to sell it to you. Are you kidding me? I said, what if I made you an offer that you should no longer be Jewish? You know what I mean? For the right price, I'm going to give you $10,000. And you're a guy. You just lost your Jewishness. Would you accept it? $10,000, green cash. He says, are you joking? Are you stupid? Do I look stupid to you, he tells me? For $10,000, I'm giving away the title Jew? Never. So I started upping the ante. What about 15, 20, 25, 50? When I came to 100, he started wavering a little bit. I said, don't you realize what you just said? This watch that you think is so valuable to you, and it is. It's got real value in the marketplace, plus it's got sentimental value in your marriage. And for 10, 15 grand, goodbye, good luck. When it comes to your Judaism, what you said means nothing to you. It's by name only. Hello? Suddenly you're not going to sell it. You're not even going to consider it for less than $100,000, and probably then not either. He said, Rabbi, you win. We rolled up our sleeve. We laid tefillin. I'm telling you this story because we need to understand what Moses is teaching us. Of course, we're Shema people. Of course, we don't see God. We're not prophets. We're not Moses. That's what makes us special. That's our contribution, that we're Shema people. We learn, we think, we struggle. It's a daily struggle to make the right decisions. But why are we doing that? Because deep down, like today's portion, we are Re'eh people. We do see it from afar. At the end of the day, it's the most valuable thing that we possess. It's not for sale. Shabbat Shalom.